Hi folks, and welcome back to the plot. Today is one of those mornings. It is gorgeous. It is just so serene and peaceful, and the hay fever is starting a little bit, so I'm not emotional, I promise. Might sound like I am a little bit, but every now and then you get these little moments in life where you just really find proper contentment, you know, like you can just take a little breath and everything feels right with the world. And this season, the garden is providing me with just so many of those moments, and it's a pleasure to share them with you. Today, there's a few little jobs that I want to do in the greenhouse. Lots of that kind of stuff that I was talking about in the Getting Organised episode a few days ago. I've got quite a lot of time. Feels like there's no stress, there's no worries, and it's just bliss. Honestly, just bliss. This is really kind of like the ultimate goal for your garden, I think, you know, for it to be able to provide you with just these moments of kind of peace. And I've just come up, spent a little bit of time looking at all the chili peppers. If you missed my last episode, the chili peppers are living in the greenhouse now. They had their first night out yesterday and they're looking absolutely fantastic. It's a real grey morning today, but the greenhouse is already up to a toasty 25 degrees. Over the years, I've done plenty of gardening in a rush. I felt rushed to kind of get certain things out at the right time of year. And that's a natural part of gardening, but I really just, when you're on top of things and you can just come and enjoy the garden, it's got to be just one of the absolute best feelings. Just sitting, enjoying a cup of tea in the greenhouse. It's one of the kind of simple pleasures. And it takes an awful lot of work to get to this point, but it's so worth it. And actually being able to keep on top of things little and often, it just kind of makes it feel all worth it. You know, these little moments of just quiet enjoyment just makes any stress, you know, like all the stress that I've gone to building that greenhouse. We were talking about that in the Potty Mouth Garden Club chat this morning. You know, the stress that people go through building greenhouses and trying to convert allotments, and it's fun. Like, that stuff is really fun, but every now and then the reward, you just get to feel just amazing. I wake up in the morning at the moment and it's like the first thing I want to do, have my coffee, get out into the garden. It's just perfect. I've just got the seed box out and I'll show you what I'm planting in a moment, but I really am just doing some musings and some ramblings this morning. But one of the other things that I've just absolutely adored about this year, and moving towards a bit more of a little and often approach. I've always been fairly good at visiting the allotment, sort of. But I'm here much more this season, and I think one of the nicest things to come from that is a proper feeling of community. I mentioned in my last video as well, the allotments are really starting to get a bit more busy. We've had an amazing guy called Mike, who I know watches the videos. Hello, Mike. He started his allotment about a year ago, a little bit less, and he is here just so often. Really dedicated guy, and he's kind of led the drive to get a lot of the plots cleared up. He does a lot of volunteering with the council, and you know, it's just brilliant. And like, there's lots of people that I'm seeing a lot more often, having proper nice chats with, and it's just really nice to feel like you're part of your kind of allotment community. And it's great as well because you get to exchange little favours. People will do things like shut your greenhouse for you at night if you've left them open. Thank you, Mike. It's just brilliant. I'm kind of in love with gardening this year, can you tell? So enough of that. Seed packets falling out of this. This is how I organise my plants. Not sure if you can actually see that, but it just says summer plants on here. And it's like the biggest thing. It's just a bit of paper that I fold. And I think it's actually quite an effective way of organising my seeds. I have one for like alliums, salads, that kind of thing. But there is quite a lot in here, and you need to have a little bit of a think about what needs to get sown. And most of these, where they're slightly bigger seeds, ooh. I was about to say that I normally like to just sow them straight into pots, but this year I've got these, which I think are going to be good for the sweet corn. I think sweet corn like to have a deep root, and for a lot of the squashes, I think it makes sense to use these snail. For the squashes, I think it makes sense to use these massive, kind of super big module trays from Containerwise. These were really good for the broad beans, and I think they'll suit something like a squash or a courgette or a cucumber, that kind of thing, quite well too. Here are all the summer plant seed packets arranged pretty chaotically, and I've just been going through, having a little think about what I'm going to sow and what I'm not. And on the left, this is what I'm going to sow today, and these are two that I'm not going to sow. So basically, everything in this packet I'm going to give a go. And these are space-loving plants, but this year I have lots of space. The only ones I'm not doing this courgette, because I've got a series of other courgettes, and the Honey Plus, which I've already got a few of those Honey Plus cucumbers on the go too. I've actually just given these a bit of an organise so I can see what is what. And you can see a lot of these packets were very kindly sent to me by Grown Local, and they have a really cool, interesting selection of varieties. Like some of the ones on the Grown Local website are just a bit more interesting. And we've got some interesting kind of summer plants that Ian has sent me. So we've got some winter early acorn squash, butterbush. Then there's a couple of interesting looking courgettes too. The pick and pick and the butter stick as well. Another great rhyme. Lots of rhymes in the videos recently. Butter stick, pick and pick. And I've got two sweet corn varieties here. I'm not sure which one to do. I think this Swift F1 was actually in that cheap seed packet. So I'm probably going to try the Solstice F1 from Grown Local. And then we've got a series of other squashes. A honey nut squash, I have tried that. These, look at this, 23 butternut. So this is own save seed of butternut squash. They're always working quite well for me. So definitely want to get some of those in soon. I've got a few cucumbers on the go, some Merlin already from Grown Local. We've got the Masterpiece, which is a bit of a longer, is it? The picture doesn't look long. I thought the Masterpiece was a longer cucumber. I'm not sure. The Market More I always grow. That does do quite well, especially outside. So I'm just going to sow a load of cucumbers and see how they go over the season. This one, the Uchikakiri? What's it called? Uchiki Kuri. That's cool. These are just adorable little pumpkins. I'm not really super into doing big pumpkins. They take up a lot of room, but these are just adorable, and none of my seeds germinated last year, so I'm going to give these another go, and hopefully we'll get some of those. There's one here, the winter squash, Marina di Chioggia. I've already got some seeds sown of that, but I'm going to do a few more because that is meant to be divine. Oh, sowing seeds when you've got the time, it's just such a lovely job. It's not always been my favourite job actually, and that's because, like I said earlier, quite often I've done a lot of rushed gardening, and when you feel like you're behind and you've got to get things planted, you've got to get moved on, and there's 3 other jobs that you should be doing as well, it's a very, very different experience. You know, when you're on top of things and you can just, it just feels like the world kind of fades away and dissolves, and it's just you and you've got time, and it's just chill. And it's just great, and I'm going to show you what I've sown. Someone commented on one of my videos once asking what drugs I was on because I was so happy. And it's just gardening sometimes, honestly. I'm actually so excited about the sheer variety of kind of summer squash plants. Some are called winter squashes too, but you know, they grow through summer, that's what I mean. I've got my courgettes on the left, 3 of those. I went absolutely mad on the Uchiki Kuri pumpkin. I've done 3 of those, and each of these modules has about 3 or 4 seeds in. I just went, right, the whole packet's going in. Most of the other ones only have 1 or 2. Well, in fact, they always pretty much have 2, and I will probably just try and keep 1 plant on, because honestly, 3 courgette plants, plenty. Absolutely plenty. And like I say, I've still got a few of these sown in the other greenhouse that have come up. Got some more squashes here, the honey nut, spaghetti squash, and the Marina di Chioggia. My acorn squash, that looks quite interesting. The butternut, of course, I went crazy with the seed in here. This has got like 5 or 6 in each module, because I'm not sure how well I stored that. Then the summer sunburst, that's quite a nice one. I grew that a few years ago, and just so prolific. And then the butterbush. Isn't that an amazing name, the butterbush? And somewhere I've got my sweet corn too. That is just hidden down here, and this is the Solstice F1 that I've sown. And I wasn't sure whether to go with 2 sweet corn seeds in each one, or just one. And in the end I went with one per module because I think they don't like having their roots disturbed. That's the whole idea behind giving them a nice deep module to get their roots away. And it might be one that I end up doing a bit of a succession because I do have a few seeds left, but of course important to note that a lot of sweet corn you cannot grow next to each other because they cross-pollinate. So I'll just be sticking with the Solstice F1 this year. And on the subject of squashes, let's have a look at a little look at, you, okay. Bit of slug damage on this one. What is this one? The spaghetti squash. So this is why it's always good to keep a few seeds as backup. The Honey Plus has come up, that's a cucumber. And there's one that we were waiting to come up. Where is it? It was the honey something. Where is that? I've just been running around looking for it in the other greenhouse, and then I've come back in here. And it's down here, it's hidden away. That is the honey nut squash, and it's still not come up, so I don't think that it's going to come up unless it's taking a abnormally long time to germinate. But a good little tip, and this is something I knew before, but a really good idea if you're getting slug damage on your plants, to take your trays and check the underside of them, because often this is where little slugs or snails will hide, in the nooks and crannies. I can't see any on here. Sometimes if you've got a tray like this, might be under there too. Often they will have slunked away to somewhere a bit more sheltered, but sometimes you might find them. These two greenhouses are just, they're my favourite place to be at the moment. There's, oh, I forgot to show you something. Oh my God. I saw this out of the corner of my eye just now while I was filming the other bit, and I didn't want to break to look at it. But check this out. This is the first one I've seen on YouTube or on Instagram or anywhere. Has anyone else had a strawberry yet? That is maybe one day away from being perfect. Oh, what a sign of the change of season. That is so exciting. I've just got a couple of strawberries down here. And I should say as well, the strawberry planter in the old dying wheelbarrow, these strawberries have taken pretty well, considering I literally just dug them up and shoved them in at probably the worst time of year that you can do it. No frost on any of my strawberries either. So that's lovely, isn't it? I'm still going to be digging up a few more as well, so this will get filled with a little bit more, and I might do a little bit of planting in here with some flowers or something as well. Denise from Let's Grow Home commented that nasturtiums would be amazing in here because of the way that they would trail down, and I thought that was a really nice idea. But yeah, what I was trying to say is just seeing these greenhouses start to fill up, it really feels like, you know, regardless of what harvests you take or anything, this is really, for me, when it just starts to feel so fulfilling. You know, this just becomes a wonderful space when I can film and there's some lovely healthy plants in the background. That means I am winning. I'm probably going to be up here for just a little while longer, planting out some lettuces and brassicas and that kind of thing. It's just such a lovely day to be here, even though the skies are grey and it's just threatening to rain. If you have enjoyed today's video, please do remember to like and subscribe. It just means that YouTube is more likely to actually remember that you like my videos and is more likely to show you them in future. An extra special thank you, as always, to my Chili Pepper tier patrons. You can check out my Patreon below, but my Chili Pepper tier patrons, Pam, Louise, Michael, Bill and Tony, you are the stars. Thank you all ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.